I'm so frustrated. One of the gals recently who took the 12 Keys for Married Success online course with me, when I asked her what she had learned most from the course, she said it was that he wasn't the problem. He's not the problem. I said, tell me more about that, and she did. So I want to share with you some of the reasons today why he may not be the problem, or he may not be the only source of the problem, is probably really more accurate. Because yes, our guys will change, but no, we can't make them change. But let's look at some reasons why he might not be the problem. He might not be the problem. I've got 7 reasons here because you want him to change first. This is that whole thing we got, we got married and we thought, oh, I don't know how to, well, just wait until when we get married, I'll have him. He'll pick up his clothes. I know he'll stop smoking. I know he'll do this. I know he'll go to church with me more often. But you know what? We can't make anyone else change. We can set up the circumstances that they want to change and that they will because it seems like a good idea, but we can't make them change. The Bible says here in Matthew 7:12 to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That means you don't wait for them to go first. One gal said, I'll start losing weight when he stops smoking. Really? The two are tied together? The smoking's his problem. The losing weight's your problem. You have to work on your own issues. So maybe you're just pure and simply, this is reason number 2, you're unhappy with yourself. It's really hard to love someone else when you don't love yourself. I know when I'm not feeling good or I'm tired or I'm grumpy that way, I'm just not very nice to be around, and I really don't want to be around anybody else because I'm not a nice person then. I have negative thoughts running through my head and I'm not happy with myself. Maybe you've got this reason or that reason. So one of the things we talk about in the 12 Keys for Married Success is how to get happy with yourself, how to take care of yourself. Reasons number 3, that he might not be the problem, is you fight over and over again about the same things. This is probably an issue for both of you. But when you learn the techniques of how to have a calm discussion about the issues, to come up with some solutions that you think might work, to discuss them, to be open and willing for compromise, it starts to work like a boardroom and you start to figure things out. And suddenly you're not so yelling and angry at each other anymore. Reason number 4 that he might not be the problem or the whole problem is because you assume the worst. Maybe you grew up with a dad that was an alcoholic or dad that was just absentee from the house, and so you assume that your husband's going to be like your dad. Or maybe you were married before, like I was, to a really abusive man, and you assume that your husband will be like the man you were married to before. That the two people aren't the same. And yes, sometimes we do things similar, but no, we are not the same, and they're not the same. And if we go around assuming that someone is the worst thing possible or going to do all the worst things, we start looking for those. So the minute he's not home exactly on time, we assume the worst. The minute he doesn't call and text us because he's going to be late, we assume the worst. I tend to get afraid my husband's gotten in a car accident or something. So I'm talking to myself too here, gals. This is not just his problem. Remember, it's our problem. Reason number 5, you can't admit you're wrong. I know for some of you personalities, gals, and particularly mobilizers who want to go get it done, or organizers who know that it's exactly right and your way is right, it's really hard to admit you're wrong. I know it was really hard for me as an organizer. I had to figure out that sometimes there's 2 rights. How about that? 2 rights. And they could both be right. Then we had to figure out how to have both in the same home. Maybe you're still thinking, if you could just change him, all your marriage issues will be over. Well, gals, I'll tell you how he's going to change. This way. You change first. He sees the way you've changed. And then he responds to your changes. It happens over and over and over again.